In this estimate, we're going to look at how to create an NCR book using digital printing. I'm in my estimate screen, I'm going to hover over the Estimates tab and select Add New. I'm going to start typing my customer name. And I'm going to choose Sheet-Fed Digital as our print option, and then I'm going to choose Booklet. So a booklet is any item that has multi-sections. And we'll give it a title of NCR Books and click Next. We can quote up to 4 quantities. I'm going to quote them for 10, 15, 20 and 25 books. And we've got a field here called Section 1. We could leave it as Section 1, but I'm going to change it and I'm going to call it the cover. I'm going to choose my press, which is this Canon. Then I'm going to choose the correct paper stock for the cover. And I've got a sort of a brown craft card in my inventory. I'm going to use that. I'm going to print this single-sided in black and white. And the binding type for this is non-saddle stitched. So that setting accommodates every type of binding that isn't saddle stitched. And the number of pages in this section is going to be 4, front and back, inside and out. We're going to print on an 11 by 17 sheet, and the finished size of the NCR book is going to be a half letter, which is 5.5, 8.5. The system's telling us we can lay that up 2 up on the print sheet. So that's our first section done. There's a button here called New Section. I'm going to click on that. And again, we could keep it as Section 2, but I'm going to call this instead White. Because the first sheet, top sheet we're doing is a white sheet. And I'm going to choose my paper stock. So there's my carbonless white. And we're printing that just black only, non-saddle stitched. And let's say there's going to be 50 sets in this pad. Okay, so choose 50 for the white sheet. Again, the same sizes, 11, 17 print sheet, and the finished size of 5.5 by 8.5, getting it 2 up. And we'll click New Section. You can see down here we've now got 2 sections created. This is Section 3. And I'm going to call this Pink, and then choose some pink paper. That's the pink. This will also be 50 pages. Everything else will be the same. I'm going to add 1 more section. We've now got 3, and I'm going to call this Blue. So there's the blue. Again, 50 pages. And we're done. I'm going to click Finish. So that's the printing cost. I also had my guillotine at the bottom there, so that'll also calculate the trimming. I'm now going to go to my finishing costs. And you could create different costs for collating and maybe taping or gluing the book together. I'm just going to take one general cost called booklet making, where I've grouped all those costs in together. And I've built that as a formula. The system's calculated the price. And I'm going to click Save. So I've clicked Finish, and now we're going to the summary screen. And what we've got here is we've got a cost for all sections, and that's what the system's defaulted to. But I can click on these different sections, the cover, the white, pink or blue. I can see the cost breakdown for each section. Within the cost breakdown, I've got the cost for my paper here. If I click on that, that's going to open a pop-up. I can see the number of sheets that I'm going to need for the blue, depending on each quantity that we've estimated. So if they go for 10 books, it's going to be 258 sheets that we need. That's based on us printing it 2 up and us having 50 pages in each book. So 50 pages times 10 would be 500 sheets, but we're printing it 2 up, so it's only 250. Then we've got 8 sheets of spoilage, a little bit of setup spoilage and a bit of running spoilage. Same, for example, in the pink, it would be the same numbers. Same again, no need to look at the white and the cover, just look at the cover rather. The cover will be less because it's just the front and back cover in that case. So that's our estimate built. We'd then come up here and go print an email and send it off to the customer. But out of interest, let's go and look at one of these paper stocks in the inventory list and see what's going on there. Let's look at the blue, for example. So this is where I set it up. I gave it a name. I put it into the category called paper. I put in its cost. In this case, it was $65 for 500 sheets. It comes packed in 500s. I put in the dimensions of it, put in its weight. And I also set up an opening stock of 1,000 sheets. So we've got 1,000 sheets of blue on the shelf. If we go to the history, we've got our opening value there of 1,000. There's been a couple of little transactions there, but they don't relate to what we're doing yet. Let's go back to our estimate. And let's say the customer's given us the go-ahead on this estimate. And let's say they want 20 books. So we'll come up here and we'll say progress to job. And we'll select the 20. And if we've got an order number, we can pop it in there. And now we're in the job. If we just go back to our paper, and if we just give this a refresh, go to the history. So here we have a new stock allocation for job 2196, that's our new job, for 510 sheets. We've got 1,000 on the shelf. We're allocating 510. That means there's 490 available for other jobs. Now, if we go back into this job and we change its status, we're triggering the stock reduction based on a specific status that we've set, and that status is in print. So I've said that this job is now in print, and if we go back to the paper history and give that a refresh, so here was our allocation in blue, and now the stock's been utilized or used. So now there's only 490 on the shelf because we've used the 510 to print the job. So as we're moving the jobs through production, we're using the status change as a trigger to reduce the stock quantity. And that won't have just happened on this blue stock, that will have happened on the white, the pink, and also the craft cover as well. So that's the process to create an NCR book estimate, turn it into a job, and then trigger the stock reduction by changing the status of the job.